The Avengers Season 6 Review. Hello and welcome to my review of Season 6 of the original The Avengers series that ran for 33 episodes from 1968 to 1969. It starred Patrick Macnee, once again as Agent Extraordinaire John Steed, and newcomer Linda Thorson as his new assistant Tara King. Also appearing in Season 6 on a recurring basis was Patrick Newell, playing essentially Steed and Tara's boss, the mysterious man known only as Mother. The series begins with an episode called The Forget-Me-Not, which begins with the Season 5 titles, because Diana Rigg's still here. Unfortunately, this is Diana Rigg's last appearance as Emma Peel. It's also Linda Thorson's first appearance as Tara. This is a fun episode. It's a very good introduction for Tara, who's very likeable. And it's as sad as it is to lose Mrs. Peel, and it certainly is, it gives you the impression, this could still be okay. The next episode is Game. Now, this features Peter Jeffrey, who's appeared in many episodes of The Avengers, and Doctor Who fans will know as Count Grendel from The Androids of Tara. Now, this is one of only 2 episodes of Season 6 that I actually got to see in the 90s. 90s, like early 2000s. I managed to see basically all of Season 5 in the early 2000s because that was the most easily available season. I guess not only because it had Diana Rigg, and that's the most popular kind of pairing, but also because it was in colour, where unlike Season 4. But while I got to see about half of Season 4 via the VHS releases, eventually seeing the rest in the 2010s, there were only 2 episodes of Season 6 that I got to see on VHS. I don't know if any more were released. That's all I ever found down here in Australia. And it took till, again, early mid-2010s until I actually got to see the whole of Season 6. Game was one of the few exceptions, and I thought that was an excellent episode. Still think it's an excellent episode. Very good stuff, and this certainly gives the impression, you know what, I think this show's going to be just fine without Diana Rigg. The next episode is Super Secret Cypher Snatch. This is a fun episode where it's difficult to explain the plot without spoiling the plot. Secrets are being stolen from this top secret HQ somehow. Tara goes in undercover. Doesn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. Secrets keep on leaking out. There's something very strange going on. This is a good, strong, fun episode. Very enjoyable. The next episode is You'll Catch Your Death, which is basically an early episode about, you could say it's about biological warfare. It's like people are, government officials are being sent letters with basically diseases inside that kill them. It's kind of predictive, really. This is another really good episode. It's got a great guest cast as well. Valentine Dial's in there, Fulton Mackay, Dudley Sutton. Very enjoyable episode. Oh, Jeffrey Chater from Callan as well. Yeah, that's another really strong episode. I also have to point out this episode lineup is not the one that you get on the DVDs. I think this is the lineup that's actually shown on TV. Yeah, this is when they were first broadcast in the UK. By Thames Television, but some regions broadcast them in different orders, and they are in different orders on the DVDs. I think they're in like production order on the DVDs, so it's all a bit complicated. It's not like it really matters. Aside from Forget Me Not being episode 1, it doesn't really matter beyond that. Anyway, the next episode is Split. This is another good episode. It's kind of multiple personality, sort of Manchurian candidate sort of stuff. Very strong. Julian Glover's in it. Bernard Archard from Pyramids of Mars. Christopher Benjamin from Talons. Very, very strong episode. It's a really strong run of episodes so far. I know some people don't like Season 6 solely because they miss Diana Rigg. The episodes, it's a pretty strong run of episodes so far, in my opinion. The next one is Whoever Shot Poor George Oblique Stroke XR40, which is sabotaging this government computer. This is an okay-ish episode, though it's very dated in terms of the understanding of computers. Yeah, it's that one takes a bit of suspension of disbelief, even more than usual. The next one is False Witness. This is about witnesses, including Tara, who seem to start lying about what events that they've seen or haven't seen. Of course, it's more complicated than that. There's like mind control and brainwashing going on. I can't really remember this one very much. I mean, to be fair, I've only seen this, apart from like Game and one other episode, I've only seen this season twice so far. I seem to remember it was pretty good. The next one is All Done with Mirrors. This is another really good episode. Oh yes, I vaguely remember it. So isn't it the one with the lighthouse? Dinsdale Landon's in this. Tenny Elevens. This is another really strong, fun episode. Peter Coppler's in it. The next one is Legacy of Death. This one I don't recall being terribly impressed by. It's kind of a spoof of the Maltese Falcon. It's got a really good guest cast. Ronald Lacey from Raiders of the Lost Ark, Stratford Johns, Richard Herndl, the first Doctor. This one is very vague in my memory. I don't think it was that great, despite a really good cast. I don't think it was particularly bad, though, either. The next one is Noon Doomsday. Oh, this one's a good one. T.P. McKenna's in this one. Anthony Ainley's in this one. This one sees Steve being injured, and he gets treated inside a hospital that's kind of run by the agency. But there's an assassin on the way and an accomplice on the inside, and it's up to Tara to race against time because Steve's in a bit of a pickle. This is another really good episode. It's got a kind of a vaguely Western vibe. It's very strong. I really, really like this episode. Very good. The next episode is, look, stop me if you've heard this one, but there were these two fellas, which is a sort of an Avengers tribute to vaudeville with these two old ex-vaudeville acts basically going on a rampage, killing the businessmen that they hold responsible for ruining vaudeville. Good cast. Bernard Cribbins is in it. John Cleese is in it. John Woodvine's in it. And I know this is a bit of a favourite. I just thought it was kind of okay. I mean, I don't dislike it. I think I have other favourites in season 6, though. The next one is Have Guns, Will Haggle, which is basically just about a gun smuggling, gun trafficking ring. This is probably the worst episode of the season so far. It's just a bit boring. It's not very interesting. I may be mistaken. I think this is one of the episodes that they shot under a different production team, because there was this whole weird thing behind the scenes where the executives fired Brian Clemens and Albert Fennell, who basically made the show incredibly successful and cool, and brought in other people, and they did a couple of episodes and it was shit. And they went begging back to Brian Clemens and Albert Fennell again to do the rest. I think this is one of those episodes, and it is kind of boring. The next episode is They Keep Killing Steed. This is the other episode of season 6 that I saw back in the 90s. It was on the VHS with Game. Again, was the only example of this season that I saw for about 20 years. This is a really good episode. There's enemy agents basically being plastic surgery altered to look like John Steed, and the idea is they're all trying to get into this peace conference to assassinate the delegates. This is a fun episode. Ian Ogilvy's in it. Again, there were two strong episodes. I think I would say Game was slightly better, but they were both very enjoyable episodes, and they made me long to see season 6 for so long, because it's like, this looks as good as any other. Why can't we get it? Is it just because no Diana Rigg? That kind of sucks. It seems as fun as ever to me. The next one is The Interrogators. This is Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee's in this one. Glyn Edwards from Minder. This is basically like there's actually a similar idea to that. There's actually kind of a similar idea to this in the season 2 finale of Callan, where Callan gets basically arrested and interrogated, but he thinks they're his own people, and actually they're enemy agents. And this is basically the same thing, only it's a fake government training establishment. They think they're being trained, and it's actually a con, and they're all just being conned to try and give away secrets. And Tara's next on the list. I seem to recall this being okay. I don't remember very much about it. To say Christopher Lee's in it. I remember Christopher Lee being in the season 5 one where he's coming back from the dead. I don't remember that much about this one. I think it was pretty decent though. The next one is the Rotters. There's a new chemical that's basically causing all wood to rot and melt away to nothing. This one was another okay episode. Again, not bad, entertaining. The next one was Invasion of the Earthmen, which I did not like. I don't know whether this was one of the early ones. This is kind of almost like straight after Forget Me Not on the DVDs things. It's like you can see why they pushed it back in transmission, because it's not very good. There's some very attractive young ladies in the thing. It's like this military school for young men and women, and some of the young women are very attractive. Well, this one's not terribly good. This is one of the worst of the season, I would say. The next one is Killer, which I don't remember very much about. A computerized assassin. I remember his temporary new partner, Lady Diana. She was fun, and it's got a good. Is this the one with Anthony Valentine? It's so difficult because they reuse guest actors, so sometimes you're like, is that the same one? I think if this is the one I'm thinking of, if Anthony Valentine is only in this episode, then this is a pretty strong episode, and it's always fun to see Anthony Valentine. The next one is The Morning After. Oh, this is a really good episode. Peter Barkworth, Brian Blessed, John Ackland. It's one where a sleep gas basically puts the whole of London to sleep, apart from Steed and this guy that he's taken prisoner, and there's people running around doing unpleasant things. This is a really good episode, one of the best of the season. I really enjoyed this one. The next one is The Curious Case of the Countless Clues, which I don't remember at all. Peter Jones, Tony Selby, Kenneth Cope. Is this on the DVDs? I have no memory of this episode. I'm going to have to watch season 6 again soon. What the hell? The next one is Wish You Were Here, which is basically a sort of a spoof of The Prisoner. There's this seems to be this lovely hotel in this quaint English town, but it's basically a prison. And if you try and get out, you won't. This is Tara finds herself trapped there. Again, really good episode. Really, really strong, interesting. I liked it a lot. Derek Newick's in this. Dudley Foster, Louise Pageau. Isn't that what's her face from Seeds of Death? Pretty sure that is. That's a really good episode. The next one is Love All. This is one of my favorites of the season. Basically, there's this kind of mind control thing going on where civil servants are falling in love, madly in love with their new assistants or their secretaries or whatever. Of course, the whole thing's it's a mind control thing, and they're basically being manipulated into betraying secrets. This is a really good episode. Lots of fun, very funny ending where Steed gets the villain to fall in love with him. That was a fun episode. I enjoyed that one. The next one is Stay Tuned. This one is a positive delight for Doctor Who fans, as not only do you get the Rani in it, Kate O'Mara, you get the original Master, Roger Delgado, as well. The bad guy, of course. This is basically Steed comes back from holiday, but he's not been on holiday. He's been kidnapped and he's basically been brainwashed, supposedly, unknowingly implanted with like a post-hypnotic suggestion to kill one of the higher ups in his agency. This is a really strong episode. Really liked it. Very tense. It's really good stuff. I don't understand why people don't like season 6. This is a great season. I had 1 or 2 duffers at most. Great stuff. For 33 episodes, this is really strong batting average in my opinion. The next one is Take Me to Your Leader, which is they're tracking this Red Attaché case. This one's a bit of a weak one in my opinion. It's got Penelope Keith in and Michael Robbins. I find this one a bit on the dully side. It was okay. It wasn't awful. It's not as bad as the ones I've mentioned, like Invasion of the Earthmen. It's just kind of an average one. Fortunately, it's followed up by another really great episode in Fog. This is basically Jack the Ripper in 60s London, but 60s London looks remarkably like Victorian London in this episode with the with the fog everywhere and this gentleman's club where they're all dressed like it's the Victorian age, and this is a lot of fun. This is basically the Avengers does Jack the Ripper, and it's a lot of fun. Very atmospheric and very entertaining. The next one is Who Was That Man I Saw You With?, in which Tara comes under suspicion of being a double agent. This one is okay. I don't really remember it very strongly. I think it was okay. I don't remember it being bad. It was decent, just not one of my favourites. The next one is Homicide and Old Lace, which is, again, probably the worst of the season. Again, I think this is something to do with the production issues. It's basically Mother telling his aunties about this improbable tale, and it's basically a clip show. It's basically a clip show strung together into a plot that doesn't make any sense at all. It's not good. I think some of the clips, at least some of the clips, are from stuff that was filmed and they never used it because the episodes themselves were crap, and this was kind of an attempt to make use of them. I think it's not very good. This one is Thingamajig. The next one, Thingamajig. I like this one. This is about this device that eats electricity, and it starts killing people in a rural English village. I've seen some people complain about this and say it's just, like the Cybernauts. I don't really see much connection other than the fact that it's a device. It's not like it's a robot. It's not like it's a humanoid robot. It's like a small little thing, and it's very atmospheric. I'm sorry, and I'm sorry, but I like things killing people in a small English village. It just makes for atmospheric stuff. This is a fine episode in my opinion. Very enjoyable. The next one is My Wildest Dreams. Oh, this is good. Yeah, I remember this one. This one is about ordinary guys basically being hypnotized into committing murders because they're hypnotized and into being convinced that it's a dream. They're being convinced that they're kind of like, people that they kind of hate and would like to kill, and they're convinced that it's a dream so they can do it. This is a really strong episode. I really like this one. Again, another really good episode. The next episode, after I was so rudely interrupted, is Requiem. Again, I clearly haven't seen these seasons enough. I vaguely remember this one, if it's the one I'm thinking of, where they're trying to kill Steed and they're trying to kill Mother. I vaguely remember it. I vaguely think it was pretty decent. I need to watch season 6 again. The next episode is Takeover. Now, this one I do remember. Again, I would say this is one of my favourite episodes of the season. This is a really strong, really tense episode. Steve goes to spend the weekend with 2 friends. He doesn't know that the other house guests are basically holding them hostage. They basically like planted bombs in them under their skin, and if they try and tell him or get away, they'll blow him up. This is a really good episode. It's very tense and unusually kind of serious for the event for the Avengers. Certainly at this point, I really like. Yeah, this is a really strong episode. One of my favorites of the season. The next episode is Pandora, where Tara gets kidnapped, and these two brothers want to kind of convince her. They're drugging her and they're trying to brainwash her into believing that she's somebody else and the year is 1915. This is a weird episode. I think it was Linda Thorson's favourite. Not mine. It's okay. It's not bad. Not one of my favourites. It pales in comparison to the previous one, in my opinion. The next episode is Getaway, which is about these Russian spies who escape from this supposedly escape-proof prison. Oh, it's that one. Yeah, I was just going to say, is the one with? I couldn't see him in the cast for some reason. But yeah, it's the one. It's another one with Peter Bowles. Peter Bowles was in the season 5 Escape in Time, but he's in this one as one of the guys that escapes from this impregnable prison, and he's out to kill Steve. This is a really good episode. I remember this one. Very good. Just this season is just chock-a-block with great episodes, in my opinion. And unfortunately, the final episode of the Avengers, at least until the new Avengers came about in the mid-70s, is bizarre. This is a fun episode where this guy gets killed who's supposedly been dead and buried for a year, and they find this cemetery. Half the people there aren't in their graves. There's something very odd going on. This is a really fun final episode. It's very strong. I mean, there's nothing particularly final about it, apart from the kind of the bizarre tagline where Steed and Tara blast off into space. Okay, but it's a fun episode. And a fun ending to the show. I have to be honest, I really like season 6. I know some people don't like Tara. I like Tara. I know some people are butthurt by Diana Rigg not being there, but it's like, it's still a great show, dude. It's Patrick McNee's still great. There's still tons of really, really enjoyable episodes. I'd say my favourite episodes of this season: Game, You'll Catch Your Death, Split, Noon Doomsday, They Keep Killing Steed, The Morning After, Wish You Were Here, Love All, Fog, and Thingamajib, and Takeover. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, it's as strong as season 4 or 5 in my opinion. Excellent season. Love the Avengers. I have absolutely no hesitation in giving season 6 a strong A.